Welcome guys, today I'm giving you a brief breakdown of each of the game's 6 battle royale maps and will be showing you the best drop locations and a few other tips and tricks to help improve your PUBG mobile experience. First up we have Livik, small, dense and also is described as a Nordic map. The map is covered with lots of greenery and blossoms just like that of Sanhok and wrangle. The northeastern side of the map is all covered with snow and snow-capped mountains like in Vikendi. Livik is a small map, even smaller than Sanhok with an area of 2x2 kilometers. The map has a player limit of 55 from the 100 that we normally see on the larger maps. Livik has 2 exclusive weapons named the Mk12 DMR and the P90 SMG. The places on Livik with the best loot are 1. The Waterfall. A medium-risk drop is located in the southeast part of Livik. The waterfall is quite an interesting spot. The waterfall consists of 3 stories. There's a space behind the waterfall at the bottom that often contains super crates and other great loot. 2. Iceborg. Being an icy ground on the edge of the Livik map, Iceborg is a charming little town on the northeastern front. The locality holds buildings and other features, with a large church in the middle, where vast loot is offered. However, individuals typically find what they need from the encompassing urban structures. Going to Iceborg is a low risk in terms of other players landing there with you, but is also very high in terms of location, because the safe zone is often quite far away from it, and it's very challenging to turn back to the domain. 3. Hot Springs. A medium-risk drop, the Hot Springs is located in the northeast part of Livik. The Hot Springs have something to offer, which is healing. While you're in the water, you'll heal, saving on healing items. It can be a popular spot however, especially with some early brawls, but it's a solid option and does feature some decent loot. 4. The Power Plant. A high-risk drop. Every map has its hotspot which features high-risk, high-reward action. On Livik, that spot is the power plant. You'll be able to find high-tier loot such as snipers and other gear, but you'll have to fight to make it out. 5. Blomster. A high-risk drop. If you're looking to get loot out of houses, you might as well head to Blomster. Chances are you'll leave with all the weapons you need. The spot features multiple buildings with weapons and ammo, but it's quite open, leaving you vulnerable to gunfire when trying to leave or if you're without cover. Miramar. This map is laid out on an 8 km x 8 km grid, giving the players enough freedom of choice to plan their approach to become the last man standing carefully. However, unlike the lush green area of wrangle, Miramar is a barren map set in the desert, not much protection from long-range weaponry. Buildings are the only sources of refuge if one is planning to avoid action for most of the game. The places on Miramar with the best loot are 1. Water treatment. A high-risk drop, but has a very high amount of good quality loot and is in a great location to end up near the first circle, if not in it. However, now more people know how great water treatment can be, so it's also quite a popular drop. In a good match, this can kit out a full squad of 4, but you will have to take down whoever lands with you with the limited loot you land on. There really isn't that much solid cover in water treatment, and even the areas that you can hide behind allow for easy flanks. Combine that with a lot of the loot locations leaving you very exposed, and you're often stuck with what you land on until you take out the competition. 2. La Bandita. A low-risk drop. On the map La Bandita doesn't look that interesting, but when you come over the crest of the crater and notice a giant plane crashed into a small village you suddenly realize how many amazing locations are tucked away in seemingly boring spots. The ruins at the northwest of the map look out of the way and useless, but they provide solid loot and look great. The islands to the east look almost empty, but provide great views. Almost every location that looks a little underwhelming has some kind of interesting feature, so make sure you explore every inch of the map. 3. Picado. A high-risk drop. If you land in this town, you'll find an auditorium with what looks like a boxing ring inside. The auditorium is big enough to become a scene of an intense firefight in itself, as it is practically a maze of hallways, rooms and stairs. Picado continues to thrill players to this day with its mix of high-value loot and dangerous sightlines. Aggressive players will immediately loot the arena and casino, but savvy players should check out the 4-story hotels between them. 4. Prison. A medium risk drop. The prison is located in the southwest corner of the map, away from all the action that usually happens at the center of Miramar. Nevertheless, the prison on a small island is a wonderful place for players who are looking for loot featuring weapons and armor. 5. Campo Militar. A low-risk drop is located in the northeast corner of the map, and one has to do enough traveling to reach this spot if they choose to parachute themselves into the central area of the map. 6. Chumacera. A high-risk, high-opportunity drop is the husk of Miramar's once thriving textile industry. Long abandoned factories overlook a main road lined with residential and commercial buildings. Verticality in both the buildings and terrain make this town an exciting location to loot. 7. Minas del Sur, a low-risk drop, is located in the southwest corner of Miramar, is a good choice because it is vastly spread and offers good loot. Since it is not a popular choice, you can loot in peace. Minas del Sur is avoided because of the rocky terrain surrounding it. But remember, keep track of the time and try to get out of there before the play zone starts shrinking. Sanhok map. Inspired by the rainforests of the Southeast Asian region, Sanhok features lush greenery with a lot of buildings, ruins and military bases alongside an expansive road and river network. The massive map means there's plenty of space even for 100 players, and the hilly terrain will offer plenty of places to hide and stake out opportunities for both loot and engaging other players. The map is 4 km x 4 km, which is 4 times smaller than some others offering an enhanced challenge. I recommend dropping onto the larger island when you play Sanhok, as you'll be on the safe side of the map more often than not. Additionally, the map brings in a couple of exclusive weapons, including the QBZ-95 assault rifle and the QBU-88 designated marksman rifle. The places on Sanhok with the best loot are: 1. Ruins. A medium-risk drop is an ancient-looking, temple-like structure situated at the mid-southwestern part of the map. The ruins is a key structure in Sanhok map because not only is it a good source of weapons and ammo, it is also a perfect place to hide during the middle game. The ruins has 3 floors and looks like an Aztec or Inca pyramid. It's a maze full of crypts and windows where you can choose to lie in wait for unsuspecting enemies. Because the ruins is not too far from the center of the map, in many cases, you can stay there until the final circle calls you to move. 2. Boot camp. A high-risk drop is a military barracks, hence the name, with lots of living quarters and rooms. This is the zone that is closest to the center of the map. It's a very popular landing zone, so, unfortunately, it's also one of the most frequently visited places by other players. Intense gunfire tends to start in boot camp within minutes or even seconds of landing, so you have to be careful. Also, there are hills and cliffs surrounding this village, making you open to sniper fire if you remain stationary or forget to keep your head down. 3. Paradise Resort. A high-risk drop is everything else except paradise and is a very popular location. There is also a lack of vehicle spawns. There is a lot of great loot, and if you survive you'll be in a solid position. It's actually a pretty large area and can easily handle multiple squads dropping, but the open courtyards you have to cross mean at some point you are probably going to be in a fight. Even if you think it's far enough away from the plain path that no one will go there, there's always a very high chance of someone joining you. 4. Ban. A medium-risk drop, located at the center of Sanhok's largest island, is a strange wooden structure that holds a decent amount of loot. The way the landmark is laid out will require some jumping, so be sure not to put yourself out in the open if you can avoid it, but staying low and collecting whatever loot Ban has to offer makes for a solid opening strategy. 5. Painan. A high-risk drop, located in the lower half of the map along the river, is a coastal town with buildings on either side of the river. I'd recommend landing on the northern side, as that would put you on the main island and hopefully on a clearer path to the first safe zone. Also, since Painan is a town cut in two halves, there's a chance any opponents dropping here as well will go to the other side of the river, leaving you all the loot. 6. Quarry. A medium-risk drop, located on the eastern half of the map, is a massive rocky area with good loot to be found throughout. It's one of the larger landmarks on the map, but its loot pool isn't as big as one of the towns, so we don't expect it to be terribly populated at any given time. More loot for you, and if someone did join you, there's enough space to get away from the attack and save your 3 points. Vikendi map. So far I've shown you barren desert and lush greens, now it's time to head to a fully frozen tundra. This map is one of the more diverse in terms of what you can actually find, with rocket launch pads, trains and more. But there's also a lot of little details that won't be immediately apparent to those players for whom this is all just freshly fallen snow. It's also got plenty of elevation. Vikendi also happens to be the second map, which has the G36C assault rifle. The places on Vikendi with the best loot are 1. Dino Park, a medium-risk drop, which can be found in the southwestern portion of the map, offers similar perks to Lumber Yard, but with one extra incentive. This one's closer to the center of the map. Here you can load up on items, then wait for enemies to come by until the safe zone appears and tells you where you're going next. If you have to be in the safe zone, you can fortify your position and wait to get the jump on some unlucky passerbys. 2. Mount Kresnik, a high-risk drop, located at the center of the map, will definitely be a hotspot in the early going. Only land here if you've been playing the game for a while. Because of its high loot, it draws down a high amount of enemies, so it's not the best place to start a match. If you think you can hold your own and be the last one standing, head to Mount Kresnik and have fun. 3. Villa. A high-risk drop is located in the center of the map and is one of the most preferred hot drops in Vikendi. Players can get high-quality loot as well as vehicles to enter safe compounds. The only disadvantage of landing in Villa is having up to 4 to 5 other squads landing here too. Players who rank pushing or improving their FD ratio have to play with better strategies. 4. Castle, a medium-risk drop. Castle is another great location to land on in Vikendi and get a good loot and zone advantage. It is one of the most fortified places on the map and only has 3 bridges to get to the location. Players can land here to get the loot, clear out their opponents, and secure the 3 passages to keep enemy players out of the location. 5. Pubg. A medium-risk drop. Pubg is one of the densest cities on the Vikendi map. It holds high-quality loot and offers a great zone advantage to players in most matches. It is also located on the middle side of the map and has more chances of the zone getting shifted towards it. It offers the player more chances of winning the match with a good number of kills. 6. Cosmodrome. Another medium-risk drop is one of the biggest towns, with plenty of loot available for players. The location has various tactical spots to hold and wipe out enemy players. There are various towers to keep an eye on the enemy's movement and ambush them. Players can also go into the secret tunnels in the Cosmodrome to increase the chances of their survival rate. 7. Dobro Mesto. A medium-risk drop, a coastal town with decent loot, but depending on the route of the plane, can turn into an intense shootout. It is important to land quickly on the roof of a house and enter through the windows or balconies. The northernmost church is where there is a greater possibility of finding loot, as well as in the buildings surrounding the main square. To the east, across the road, there are some ruined buildings with lots of good loot. If you do not want to enter a deadly fight, as soon as you land, try to start there. Karakan map. Karakan is quite different from other maps in terms of gameplay. It is very fast-paced, and players with an aggressive approach will find it more comfortable. The map is the same size as Livik, which is a 2x2 km map, which is smaller than the game's larger 8x8, 6x6 or 4x4 km maps. Karakan is a desert map that packs a lot of punch. The weapon spawn rate in the game is low compared to other maps, at least for the top tier. The spawn rate for utilities is also low, and players have to make the best out of what they find. There are 6 big towns located in the corners of the map, and the entire midsection of the map is filled with small structures. Karakan has a few exclusive weapons, which are G36C and the MP5K places for good loot in PUBG Mobile. 1. Al-Hayek. A high-risk drop, this place has a considerable amount of loot for 1 to 2 squads, despite being the smallest place on the map. Players who are slow-paced and steady in the game generally should not land in this place. Those who are highly skilled can engage in battles against enemies and get enough supplies here. 2. Bar Sahar. A medium-risk drop has a large warehouse where players can get huge loot. It's located at the top of the map. Survival is easier in this location as it has 2 rows of buildings, and it will be a tough job for the enemies to find the location. There are tunnels located just outside Bar Sahar, where players can find a place to hide. 3. Bashara. A high-risk drop, located in the extreme left region of the map. The area has many compounds so players can land easily without worrying about loot. This site has quite a similar design to Picado in Miramar. Players can exhibit their sniping skills here as it has high buildings and also acquire good supplies. 4. Al-Haber. An extremely high-risk drop, has many apartments and houses where 3 to 5 squads usually land, making it one of the toughest hot drops in Karakan. This site is located in the top right corner of the map, and players can even find some sticky bombs at this site. Coupled with that, they can also get good loot from Al-Haber. Those with good close-range combat skills should land here as all the houses are tightly packed. 5. Hidika Nemo. A high-risk drop. Hidika Nemo is located on the east side of the map. It resembles Jorgapal in a wrangle, as there are many containers where players could get Arkansas and SMG guns. They should pick up enough sticky bombs as there are several buildings in Hidika Nemo where enemies might be hiding. 6. Tunnels and silos. Of course, hot dropping to a named location might not be your thing, and if that's the case, there's lots of unnamed compounds dotted around the map, and a maze of tunnels lie beneath a number of compounds in Karakan, but you'll need a sticky bomb to blow open one of the many entrances. Once you're inside, expect to find lots of good loot and level 3 equipment. Getting into the tunnel system is loud and will probably draw some unwanted attention, but it's worth it if you're confident in your abilities to hold your own in small spaces. It's also a great escape route if you get caught off guard. If you get lost in the tunnels, this handy map will get you sorted in no time. The Wrangle map. A wrangle, which is the first battle royale map ever in the PUBG universe, is a 8 km x 8 km map with areas separated by land and open water, which is connected to the mainland through bridges. A wrangle features a blend of cities, small towns, vast green lands, allowing the player to explore it with greater interest. One might find themselves using vehicles oftenly to travel across this map. The map offers dynamic weather, and with the large distances, one can expect all kinds of gunfights, including intense short bursts or those long-range sniper attacks. There are no exclusive weapons available on a wrangle, with the Scar-L assault rifle coming close as it only features on a wrangle and Miramar. The places on a wrangle with the best loot are: 1. Milta Power. Located in the east, a low-risk drop is a power plant. There are 2 cooling towers, one of which is mostly destroyed, a main reactor building, where the main loot is generally situated, and several warehouses. Loot is generally good here. Several people land here at a time, so generally be careful when playing here. 2. Sosnovka Military Base, a high-risk drop, is a massive base where you can find consistent loot that consists of high quantities of weapons, armor and attachments. But other players in the game know this as well. So try to get a good gun when you land at this base. This is located on that southern island which is kind of far from the mainland and is connected only by 2 bridges. 3. Prison, a high-risk drop. This area of the map is basically a big hole with 5 warehouses, 2 houses and 1 big military building. So there's plenty of gear, and it's a great place to kit out a full squad. However, plenty of other people will have the same idea, and the sunken terrain also makes it popular. 4. Zharki, a low-risk drop, a minor city in the Wrangle map, is the most northwestern city in Wrangle. It is an often overlooked city due to its position and size, but don't ignore this hidden gem. Because of its unpopularity, it is a very effective place to go to get starting loot without engaging in PvP. However, there is a clear downside to going to Zharki, the zone. When dropping Zharki, be prepared to scramble to find a car as the first zone rarely lands in the city's vicinity. 5. Jorgapal. A medium high-risk drop, Wrangle's largest town, but somewhat lacking in modern facilities. The accommodation consists primarily of derelict apartments, for example. There's a good chance of loot here, as well as running into other people looking for it, so it's a slightly risky area to hit first. However, there's a high chance of finding a vehicle if you survive, so worth considering when you're more experienced. 6. Shelter. A high-risk drop. There's always loads of very exotic gear here, but it's also a series of concrete tunnels full of choke points and corners. Oh, and people looking for all those guns. If you can get in, get lucky and get out, good luck to you. This video was a lot to research, film and edit. I'll be aiming to drop a good video every week. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and be free to check out my other videos. And if you think I deserve it, hit that subscribe button.